The massive alien ship floated in the darkness of space like a metal city. Inside its gleaming halls, Admiral Kexathera studied the holographic display with her 4 eyes. The insect-like creature clicked her mandibles in satisfaction as she looked at the list of conquered worlds. 17 civilizations have fallen to our might, she announced to the War Council. Her voice buzzed through the translation devices worn by the other alien species gathered around the circular table. Commander Zorth of the crystalline Vorthak race pulsed with blue light. Their primitive weapons could not pierce our energy shields. Each world fell within days of our arrival. The gaseous Nebulan representative, Lord Wisp, floated in his containment suit. His voice came out as a whisper. The pattern remains the same. Energy weapons, basic shields, predictable tactics. These lesser species offer no real challenge to the Galactic Coalition. General Scar, the reptilian Scarith commander, hissed his agreement. His scaled hide gleamed under the artificial lights. Our psychic warfare units broke their minds before our main fleet even engaged. Fear is our greatest weapon. Admiral Kexathera waved her clawed hand, and the display changed to show a small blue and green planet orbiting a yellow star. This brings us to our next target, the 3rd planet in the Sol system. The species calls themselves humans. The other commanders leaned forward to study the data. The planet looked peaceful from space, with swirling white clouds covering most of its surface. Our scouts report they have barely left their home world, Commander Zorth noted. A few small settlements on nearby planets, nothing more. Their technology appears to be mostly kinetic-based. Lord Wisp laughed, a sound like wind through leaves. Kinetic weapons? How primitive. They still use projectiles and explosives. Our energy shields will make their weapons useless. General Scar studied the tactical data. They have approximately 8 billion individuals on the home world. Standard plasma bombardment should reduce that number quickly. The survivors will make good specimens for our research facilities. Admiral Kexathera nodded. The humans show no signs of advanced defensive capabilities. No energy weapons, no psychic abilities, no quantum technology. They will fall even faster than the others. Far across the galaxy, Captain Jake Morrison sat in the command chair of his small reconnaissance ship. The Horizon Runner was barely the size of a fighter compared to the alien mothership, but it was equipped with the most advanced sensors Earth could build. Jake was a veteran pilot with graying hair and steady hands. He had been patrolling the outer edges of human space for 3 years, watching for any signs of hostile alien activity. Today he had found more than he bargained for. "Captain, I'm picking up massive energy signatures ahead," reported his sensor operator, Lieutenant Tom Hayes. The young man's face was tense as he studied his displays. "Multiple large ships, sir. They're not moving, just sitting there in formation." Jake leaned forward in his chair. "How many ships are we talking about, Tom?" "At least 200, sir. Maybe more. They're arranged in some kind of ceremonial formation around what looks like a command vessel. The energy readings are off the charts." Jake felt his stomach tighten. 200 ships was more than Earth's entire space fleet. "Can you get us closer without being detected?" Lieutenant Hayes worked at his controls for several minutes. "I think so, sir. Their sensor sweeps are following a predictable pattern. If we time it right, we can slip into their blind spot." The Horizon Runner moved carefully through space using micro-thrusters to avoid detection. Jake watched the tactical display as the alien fleet grew larger on his screens. When they finally got close enough for detailed scans, what he saw made his blood run cold. Each alien ship was massive, bristling with weapon ports and energy projectors. The command ship in the center was larger than Earth's biggest space station. These weren't exploration vessels or trading ships. This was a war fleet. "Tom, start recording everything. I want full tactical scans of every ship in that formation." "Already on it, sir." "Captain, I'm also picking up their communications. The translation computer is working on it now." Jake waited impatiently as the computer processed the alien languages. When the first translated message came through, he wished he hadn't heard it. Target confirmed. 3rd planet, Sol system. Human species designated for conquest and resource extraction. Estimated resistance time, less than 1 planetary rotation. More messages followed, each one worse than the last. The aliens discussed Earth like it was just another item on their shopping list. They talked about taking humans as specimens, about stripping the planet of resources, about how easy the conquest would be. Jake listened to Admiral Kexathera dismiss human technology as primitive. He heard them laugh about kinetic weapons and mock Earth's defenses. They had no idea what they were really facing. Tom, encrypt this data and send it to Earth Command immediately. Priority Alpha. Aye, sir. Transmission away. Jake stared at the alien fleet on his screen. 200 ships filled with creatures who thought humans were just another weak species to be conquered. They had studied 17 other worlds and found the same pattern everywhere. Energy weapons, predictable tactics, quick surrender. But they had never fought humans before. Back on Earth, the emergency signal reached Admiral Paul Carter's office within hours. The older man had spent his entire career preparing for this moment, even though he hoped it would never come. He read Jake's report twice before calling General Lisa Hayes. "Lisa, we have a problem. A big one." General Hayes arrived at the Pentagon within the hour. She was a tough woman in her 50s who had commanded troops in conflicts across the galaxy's outer rim. When she saw the data from the Horizon Runner, her expression grew grim. 200 ships, she said quietly. "They're not coming to talk." Admiral Carter nodded. "Jake's report indicates they plan to attack within the next few days. They think we're primitive and defenseless." General Hayes smiled, but it wasn't a pleasant expression. "Then they're in for a very unpleasant surprise. How long until the Iron Thunder is ready for deployment?" 48 hours. Captain Mitchell's crew is already aboard and running final systems checks. The two officers stood in silence for a moment, looking at the tactical display showing the alien fleet's position. For decades, Earth had been preparing for first contact with hostile aliens. They had built weapons the galaxy had never seen, developed tactics no alien species would expect, and trained crews who understood one simple truth. In space, there were predators and there were prey. The aliens were about to learn which category humans belonged to. The war room beneath the Pentagon buzzed with activity as Earth's military leaders gathered around the massive holographic display. General Lisa Hayes stood at the center, pointing to different sections of the tactical map with a laser pointer. "Intelligence confirms that the alien coalition has successfully conquered 17 different worlds using the same basic strategy," she began. "Energy weapons, psychic warfare, and overwhelming numerical superiority. Every species they've encountered has fallen within days." Admiral Paul Carter stepped forward, his weathered face serious. "The good news is that none of these civilizations fought back the way humans would. They all relied on energy-based defenses and predictable battle formations. The aliens have never faced kinetic weapons or adaptive tactics." Colonel Dan Price, head of the Space Defense Division, raised his hand. "What do we know about their specific capabilities, General?" General Hayes touched her tablet, and the display shifted to show detailed scans of the alien ships. Each vessel appears to be equipped with plasma cannons, quantum disruptors, and some kind of psychic amplification system. Their shields are designed to deflect energy attacks, but our analysis suggests they've never encountered solid projectiles at high velocity. Dr. Susan Clark, Earth's chief weapons engineer, smiled grimly. "That's because every other species in the galaxy apparently thinks kinetic weapons are primitive. They have no idea what a railgun can do to their pretty energy shields." The room fell silent as everyone absorbed this information. For 50 years, Earth had been developing military technology based on one simple principle: prepare for the worst possible scenario. While other species had focused on energy weapons and psychic abilities, humans had perfected the art of throwing very large objects very fast. Admiral Carter activated another section of the display. "This brings us to our response options. We have 3 main assets we can deploy immediately." The first image showed a sleek, dangerous-looking warship nearly 2 kilometers long. Its hull bristled with weapon ports and sensor arrays. "The Iron Thunder is our newest and most powerful vessel," Admiral Carter explained. "It incorporates reverse-engineered alien technology with human innovation, adaptive armor plating, quantum torpedo systems, and an AI core that can predict enemy tactics in real time." General Hayes nodded. "More importantly, it's designed to fight the kind of battle the aliens have never seen: close-range engagement, kinetic weapons, and tactical unpredictability." The second image showed a medium-sized reconnaissance vessel. "The Horizon Runner will continue intelligence gathering and provide tactical support. Captain Morrison knows those alien formations better than anyone." The final image displayed a squadron of smaller, heavily armed cruisers. "The Ghost Fleet will provide backup and ensure no alien ships escape to report back to their command." Colonel Price leaned forward. "Who's commanding the Iron Thunder?" Admiral Carter smiled. "Captain Ryan Mitchell. He's our best tactical commander, and the only officer who's actually trained for this specific scenario." Across the base, Captain Ryan Mitchell stood in the Iron Thunder's main hangar, watching his crew make final preparations. Mitchell was a tall man in his 40s with sharp eyes and steady hands. He had spent the last 10 years training for exactly this moment. Lieutenant Amy Foster approached with a tablet in her hands. She was the ship's tactical officer, a brilliant young woman who had graduated top of her class from the Naval Academy. "Captain, all weapon systems are online and ready. The quantum torpedo bays are loaded and the railgun batteries are charged to full capacity." Mitchell nodded. "What about our special surprises?" Foster grinned. "The adaptive armor system is functioning perfectly. The aliens' energy weapons will be in for a shock when they realize their attacks are actually making our shields stronger." Commander Ben Walsh joined them, wiping grease from his hands. The chief engineer had been working around the clock to ensure every system was perfect. "The quantum drive is ready for combat operations," Walsh reported. "We can outmaneuver anything those aliens have. Their ships are built for intimidation, not speed." Lieutenant Karen Stone approached from the communication station. The young officer had been monitoring alien transmissions for days. "Captain, I've been analyzing their communication patterns. They're incredibly arrogant. They don't even bother encrypting their tactical discussions because they assume no one can understand their languages." Mitchell considered this information. That arrogance might be their biggest weakness. They've never fought an enemy who could listen to their plans. The ship's intercom crackled to life. "All hands, this is Admiral Carter. Prepare for immediate departure." Mitchell activated the ship-wide communication system. "Attention crew of the Iron Thunder. We are about to engage an alien force that has conquered 17 worlds. They think humans are primitive and weak. They believe our weapons are useless and our tactics are predictable. Today we're going to show them how wrong they are." He paused, looking around at his officers. "These aliens threaten our home, our families, and our way of life. They see us as specimens to be collected and resources to be harvested. But they made one critical mistake. They underestimated humanity." In the hangar bay, crew members stopped their work to listen to their captain's words. "We are not just another species to be conquered. We are humans. We adapt, we improvise, and we never give up. When these aliens see the Iron Thunder decloak in the middle of their fleet, they're going to learn what happens when predators try to hunt apex predators." The crew cheered, and Mitchell felt a surge of pride. These men and women had trained for years, preparing for a battle they hoped would never come. Now that it was here, they were ready. "Commander Walsh, bring the quantum drive online. Lieutenant Foster, prepare all weapon systems for combat engagement. Lieutenant Stone, monitor all alien communications. We're going to use their own overconfidence against them." The Iron Thunder's engines hummed to life, generating enough power to light a small city. The ship's advanced stealth systems activated, making it invisible to alien sensors. As the massive warship moved away from Earth's orbital shipyard, it carried with it the hopes of 8 billion humans. Back on Earth, President Helen Brooks stood in the Oval Office looking up at the night sky. Somewhere out there, an alien fleet was preparing to destroy everything humanity had built, but they had no idea what was coming for them. She activated the emergency broadcast system. "My fellow Americans and citizens of Earth, we face a threat unlike any in human history, but we do not face it unprepared. Our military has spent decades preparing for this moment. Our technology is ready. Our people are ready. And our enemies are about to learn why humanity has survived every challenge we've ever faced." In space, the Iron Thunder accelerated toward the alien fleet's position. Captain Mitchell sat in his command chair, watching the tactical display show their approach vector. The aliens were still in their ceremonial formation, completely unaware that death was coming for them. "Time to target?" he asked. 18 hours at current speed," Lieutenant Foster replied. Mitchell smiled coldly.
18 hours to show the galaxy what humans are really capable of."
Admiral Kexathera stood before the massive communication array on her command ship, all forearms spread wide in a gesture of dominance. Behind her, the War Council of the Galactic Coalition watched as she prepared to deliver humanity's death sentence. "Primitive species of the third planet," her voice boomed through the transmission system. "I am Admiral Kexathera of the Galactic Coalition. Your world has been selected for resource extraction and population harvesting. You have 24 of your planetary rotations to surrender unconditionally." She paused, clicking her mandibles in amusement. "Resistance is futile. We have conquered 17 civilizations with technology far superior to yours. Submit now and your deaths will be swift. Resist and we will make your species suffer for generations before extinction. The transmission ended, and the alien commanders laughed among themselves. They had delivered this same ultimatum to dozens of worlds, and the result was always the same. Fear, panic, and quick surrender. Commander Zorth pulsed with satisfied blue light. Their primitive communication systems have received our message. I estimate they will surrender within 12 hours, once their leaders realize the hopelessness of their situation. General Scar hissed his agreement. The psychological profile indicates they are an emotional species. Fear will override their logic quickly. Meanwhile, Captain Jake Morrison continued his dangerous reconnaissance mission, staying just outside the alien fleet's sensor range. The Horizon Runner drifted silently through space, its advanced stealth systems keeping it hidden from detection. Captain, I'm picking up increased activity in the alien fleet, Lieutenant Tom Hayes reported. They're moving into attack formation. Jake studied the tactical display. They must have delivered their ultimatum. How long until they reach Earth? At their current speed, approximately 18 hours, sir. Jake made his decision. Tom, take us closer. I want to see exactly what we're dealing with. The Horizon Runner moved carefully through the outer edge of the alien formation. Jake counted the ships again. 212 vessels ranging from massive battleships to smaller fighter carriers. Each one bristled with weapons designed to destroy entire cities. Suddenly, alarms began blaring throughout the small ship. Captain, we've been detected, Hayes shouted. 3 Scarith fighters are breaking formation and heading straight for us. Jake's hands flew over his controls. Hold on, Tom. Let's show these lizards how humans fly. The alien fighters were fast, but they flew in predictable formation patterns. Jake threw the Horizon Runner into a spinning dive that would have killed pilots from most species. Humans, however, had evolved from persistence hunters. They could handle forces that would crush other life forms. The first Scarith fighter fired a stream of plasma bolts that lit up space around the human ship. Jake rolled left, then suddenly reversed direction, coming up behind his attacker. The alien pilot couldn't match the unpredictable human maneuver, firing kinetic penetrators. Jake announced calmly. The Horizon Runner's railgun spat out a stream of tungsten projectiles at incredible velocity. The Scarith fighter's energy shields, designed to deflect plasma and laser attacks, offered no protection against solid metal traveling at a significant fraction of light speed. The alien ship exploded in a brilliant flash. 1 down, Hayes reported, his voice excited despite the danger. The second fighter tried to flank them, but Jake had already anticipated the move. He cut the engines and used the ship's maneuvering thrusters to spin in place, bringing his weapons to bear while the alien pilot flew past, confused by the impossible maneuver. Another burst from the railgun, and the second fighter joined the first in a cloud of expanding debris. The third pilot, learning from his companion's fate, tried to retreat, but Jake Morrison had not survived 3 years of deep space reconnaissance by letting threats escape. Oh no, you don't, he muttered, pushing the engines to maximum power. The Horizon Runner shot forward like a missile, closing the distance before the alien could signal for help. A final burst from the railgun ended the threat. All 3 fighters destroyed, Captain, Hayes reported. No distress signals transmitted. Jake sat back in his chair, breathing hard. Good. The main fleet doesn't know what happened to their scouts yet. That gives us a few more hours. But their small battle had not gone completely unnoticed. On the alien command ship, a sensor technician noticed an anomaly. Admiral, 3 of our reconnaissance fighters have gone silent. Their last known position was near the edge of our formation. Admiral Kexathera waved a dismissive claw. Equipment malfunction, probably. These primitive systems malfunction when exposed to our advanced technology. Continue with the attack plan. The technician hesitated. Admiral, their energy signatures disappeared simultaneously, and there were brief energy flashes consistent with weapons fire. This got the Admiral's attention. Weapons fire from what? There are no enemy ships in this system. Unknown, Admiral. Should we investigate? Kexthera considered this for a moment, then dismissed it. Probably asteroids or space debris. These outer system regions are full of hazards. We will investigate after we conquer the human homeworld. Hours passed. The alien fleet moved steadily toward Earth, confident in their overwhelming superiority. They had done this 17 times before, and the pattern was always the same. Ultimatum, terror, surrender, conquest. But 23 hours after delivering their surrender demand, something appeared on their sensors that had never happened before. Instead of a transmission of surrender, they detected a single massive energy signature approaching from the darkness of space. "Admiral," the sensor technician called out, his voice filled with panic. "Unknown contact approaching fast. The energy signature is enormous." Admiral Kexathara rushed to the sensor station. "Show me." The holographic display revealed a ship unlike anything in their databases. It was massive, nearly as large as their own command vessel, but its design was completely alien to their understanding. Where Coalition ships were smooth and elegant, this vessel looked brutal and functional. Every surface bristled with weapons. "What is that thing?" Commander Zorth pulsed nervously. "Unknown design," the technician replied. "Energy output suggests advanced technology, but the configuration doesn't match any known species in our database." Lord Wisp's gaseous form swirled with agitation. "Could it be a human vessel?" "Our intelligence indicated they were primitive," General Scar hissed uneasily. "Impossible. The humans use kinetic weapons and chemical propulsion. This ship shows quantum energy signatures." Admiral Kexthera stared at the approaching vessel. For the first time in her military career, she felt something she had never experienced before. Uncertainty. "All ships, maintain formation," she commanded. "Prepare weapons. If this is some kind of human trick, we will destroy it like we destroyed everything else." But deep in her insectoid mind, a small voice whispered that perhaps they had underestimated their prey. The unknown ship continued its approach, moving with purpose and confidence directly toward the heart of their fleet. Whatever it was, whoever was commanding it, they showed no fear of the Coalition's overwhelming numerical superiority. On Earth, the 24-hour deadline expired without a surrender. Admiral Kexathara prepared to give the order to attack, but her attention remained fixed on the approaching vessel. "Distance to unknown contact," she demanded. 50,000 kilometers and closing, Admiral. At current speed, intercept in 15 minutes. Kexathara's mandibles clicked nervously. In 15 minutes, she would learn whether humans were really the primitive species her intelligence had claimed, or if the Coalition was about to face something entirely new, something that might actually fight back. The space around the alien fleet suddenly erupted in brilliant light as the Iron Thunder dropped its stealth systems. The massive human warship materialized directly in the center of the Coalition formation, its hull gleaming with weapon ports and sensor arrays that had never been seen in galactic warfare. On the command deck, Captain Ryan Mitchell sat calmly in his chair, watching the tactical display show 200 alien ships surrounding his vessel. His crew worked at their stations with quiet efficiency, each person trained for exactly this moment. "All stations report ready, Captain," Lieutenant Amy Foster announced from the tactical station. "Weapon systems are online, shields at maximum power, and the AI Tactical Core is analyzing enemy formations." Commander Ben Walsh's voice crackled over the intercom from engineering. "All systems are green, Captain. The quantum drive is ready for combat maneuvers, and our adaptive armor is fully charged." Mitchell nodded, then activated the ship's communication system. Throughout the galaxy, his words would be remembered as the moment everything changed. "Attention, alien fleet. This is Captain Ryan Mitchell of the human warship Iron Thunder. You have threatened our world and our people. You have exactly one opportunity to withdraw from human space immediately and never return." His voice was calm and measured, showing no trace of fear despite being outnumbered 200 to 1. "If you choose to remain, you will discover why humanity has never been conquered." On the Zephyrian command ship, Admiral Kexathera stared at the holographic display in shock. The human vessel had appeared from nowhere, using stealth technology that shouldn't exist according to their intelligence reports. "How is this possible?" she hissed. "Our sensors showed no advanced technology in their system." Commander Zorth pulsed with nervous energy. "Admiral, this vessel's design is completely unknown. The energy readings suggest technology equal to or superior to our own." General Scar studied the tactical display with growing unease. "Their positioning is perfect. They've placed themselves where our own ships will interfere with each other's firing solutions." Lord Wisp's gaseous form swirled with agitation. "This is not the behavior of a primitive species. They're showing tactical sophistication we've never encountered." But Admiral Kexthera's pride would not allow her to show weakness in front of her subordinates. She had conquered 17 worlds, and no single ship could stand against the might of the Coalition. "All vessels, focus fire on the human ship," she commanded. Show these primitives the power of the Galactic Coalition. The response was immediate and overwhelming. 200 alien warships opened fire simultaneously, unleashing every weapon in their arsenals. Plasma cannons, quantum disruptors, psychic warfare beams, and gravitational weapons all converged on the Iron Thunder's position. The space around the human ship became a maelstrom of destructive energy that would have vaporized any known vessel in the galaxy. The alien commanders watched their displays, expecting to see the human ship torn apart in seconds. Instead, something impossible happened. The Iron Thunder's adaptive shielding systems absorbed the entire barrage. Energy weapons that had destroyed 17 civilizations simply disappeared into the ship's defensive fields. The adaptive armor plating actually grew stronger as it absorbed and redistributed the alien attacks. Impossible, Admiral Kexthara screeched. Nothing can withstand that much firepower. On the Iron Thunder's bridge, Lieutenant Foster calmly reported the results. All enemy fire absorbed by adaptive systems. Shield strength is actually increasing. The AI core has analyzed their attack patterns and is ready to respond. Captain Mitchell allowed himself a small smile. Amy, show them what human weapons can do. Foster's fingers danced across her control panel. Quantum torpedo tubes loaded and ready. Railgun batteries charged to maximum. Target locked on the enemy flagship. Fire. The Iron Thunder's response was swift and devastating. Quantum torpedoes, weapons that existed only in human military arsenals, streaked across space at velocities that defied physics. They passed through the alien energy shields as if they didn't exist, striking the Zephyrian command ship with incredible force. Admiral Kexthara felt her massive vessel shudder as explosions tore through multiple decks. Alarms wailed throughout the ship as systems failed across all levels. Damage report, she screamed. Forward sections destroyed, Admiral. We've lost 40% of our weapon systems. How did their projectiles penetrate our shields? Before she could answer, the Iron Thunder's railguns opened fire. Streams of tungsten projectiles accelerated to incredible velocities tore through the alien formation like bullets through paper. Ships that had seemed invincible moments before simply came apart as kinetic energy overwhelmed their energy-based defenses. In the first 30 seconds of combat, 12 alien vessels were completely destroyed and dozens more were crippled. The Coalition fleet, which had never faced serious resistance, dissolved into chaos as captains tried to understand what was happening. Their weapons are solid matter, Commander Zorth pulsed in panic. Our shields can't deflect physical projectiles. General Scar hissed in fury and confusion. This is impossible. No civilized species uses kinetic weapons, but the human ship was far from finished. As the alien fleet tried to regroup, the Iron Thunder began moving with impossible speed and agility. Its quantum drive allowed maneuvers that violated everything the aliens knew about space combat. Captain Mitchell coordinated the attack with cold precision. Amy, target their weapons arrays. Ben, give me everything the engines have got. Karen, are you intercepting their communications? Lieutenant Karen Stone nodded from her station. Yes, sir. They're panicking. Their commanders are screaming orders that contradict each other. They've never faced an enemy that fought back effectively. The Iron Thunder dove through the alien formation like a shark among minnows. Its weapons found targets with every shot, while the enemy's return fire continued to be absorbed by the adaptive shielding. What had begun as a confident alien attack was rapidly becoming a massacre. Admiral Kexthara watched in horror as another squadron of her ships exploded under the human vessel's relentless assault. All ships fall back and reform. Maintain distance and concentrate fire. But Captain Mitchell had anticipated this response. The Iron Thunder's AI tactical core had analyzed the aliens' combat patterns and found them predictable and rigid. Every maneuver they attempted had been wargamed by human strategists years in advance. They're trying to reform at maximum weapons range, Foster reported. Shall we pursue? Mitchell studied the tactical display. The alien fleet was beginning to spread out, trying to use their numerical advantage more effectively, but they were still thinking in terms of energy weapon exchanges and formal battle lines. Negative. Let them think they're getting organized. He activated the ship's communication system again. Commander Walsh, deploy the special packages. From the Iron Thunder's cargo bays, dozens of objects shot out into space. To alien sensors, they looked like escape pods or debris from battle damage. The Coalition commanders ignored them, focusing on the main threat. That was their final mistake. The objects were actually advanced mine systems that immediately began moving toward the regrouping alien ships. Unlike traditional space mines, these devices were equipped with their own AI guidance systems and kinetic warheads. When they detonated among the reformed alien fleet, the results were catastrophic. Ships that thought they were safely repositioning suddenly found themselves under attack from multiple directions. The mine's kinetic warheads punched through hulls designed to resist energy weapons. In less than 10 minutes of combat, the mighty Galactic Coalition fleet had been reduced from 200 ships to fewer than 50. The survivors floated in space, many too damaged to fight effectively. Admiral Kexathera stared at her tactical display in disbelief. This single human vessel had destroyed more Coalition ships than they had lost in their previous 17 conquests combined. For the first time in her military career, she felt true fear. The battle had become a complete rout. The Iron Thunder moved through the scattered remains of the alien fleet like death itself, its weapons finding targets with surgical precision. What had once been an organized invasion force was now a collection of desperate survivors trying to escape. Captain Ryan Mitchell watched the tactical display with calm satisfaction as his crew continued their work. The aliens' energy-based weapons had proven completely useless against human technology, while their ships couldn't withstand even basic kinetic attacks. "Status report," he requested. Lieutenant Amy Foster checked her displays. 167 enemy vessels destroyed or disabled. 43 ships attempting to withdraw. Our hull integrity is at 98%. And all weapon systems remain fully operational. Commander Ben Walsh's voice came over the intercom from engineering. "Captain, the adaptive armor system is functioning beyond specifications. Enemy fire has actually improved our defensive capabilities. We could probably fight another fleet this size without breaking a sweat." Mitchell nodded, then noticed something interesting on his sensor display. "Karen, what are you picking up from their communications?" Lieutenant Karen Stone adjusted her headset. "Sir, they're broadcasting warnings on all frequencies. They're telling other alien species to avoid human space at all costs. One commander just transmitted, 'The humans are not prey. They are apex predators.'" For the first time since the battle began, Mitchell smiled. "Good. Fear travels faster than any fleet." But the lesson wasn't complete yet. Admiral Kexthera's damaged command ship was still trying to organize the remaining alien vessels for another attack. Her pride wouldn't let her admit defeat, even in the face of overwhelming human superiority. "All surviving vessels form up on my position." Her transmission crackled across space. "We still outnumber them. One ship cannot defeat the entire coalition." Captain Mitchell studied the regrouping aliens with interest. They still didn't understand what they were facing. They thought this was about numbers and firepower, but they had never fought an enemy that adapted and improvised in real time. "Amy, show them something they've never seen before." Foster looked puzzled. "Sir?" "Use the debris from their own ships as ammunition for the railguns." The tactical officer's eyes widened with understanding. "Aye, sir." That's brilliant." The Iron Thunder's tractor beam systems activated, gathering chunks of destroyed alien vessels. The ship's manufacturing systems quickly processed the debris into railgun ammunition. Within minutes, the human warship was literally using the Coalition's own ships as weapons against them. The psychological effect was devastating. Admiral Kexathara watched in horror as pieces of her destroyed fleet came flying back at her remaining ships with deadly velocity. The humans weren't just defeating them. They were turning the Coalition's losses into weapons. "They're using our own ships against us," Commander Zorth pulsed in terror. "How is this possible? What kind of species thinks like this?" General Scar hissed in defeat. "Predators. We've encountered apex predators." But Mitchell wasn't finished demonstrating human tactical thinking. He opened a communication channel directly to the alien command ship. "Admiral Kexathera, I believe you're the one in charge of this invasion force." The insectoid commander reluctantly responded. "I am Admiral Kexathera of the Galactic Coalition. Surrender your vessel immediately and your death will be swift." Mitchell's laugh was cold and humorless. "You still don't understand, do you? You came here expecting to find another helpless species to conquer. Instead, you found humans. We are the species that climbed to the top of our world's food chain by being smarter, more adaptable, and more ruthless than anything else on the planet." He paused, letting his words sink in. "You've conquered 17 worlds because they all fought the same way. Energy weapons, predictable tactics, honorable battle formations. But humans don't fight honorably, Admiral. We fight to win. To demonstrate his point, Mitchell ordered a maneuver that no alien commander would have considered. The Iron Thunder suddenly accelerated directly toward the alien formation, but instead of firing weapons, it activated its tractor beams. The human ship grabbed one of the damaged alien vessels and swung it like a club into two other coalition ships. The impact destroyed all three vessels instantly. The remaining aliens watched in stunned silence as their enemy used their own ships as melee weapons. Impossible, Admiral Kexthera whispered. No civilized species fights like this. Mitchell's voice came over the communication channel again. That's your problem, Admiral. You think warfare is civilized? Humans know better. We understand that in a real fight there are no rules except survival. The demonstration had the desired effect. The remaining coalition ships began breaking formation, their commanders too terrified to continue fighting. They had never encountered an enemy that didn't follow predictable patterns, that used tactics they couldn't understand or counter. All ships, retreat, Admiral Kexthara finally commanded. Full speed! Escape the system immediately. But Captain Mitchell had one final lesson to teach. Amy, disable their engines, but don't destroy them. I want some of them to make it home. Foster looked surprised. Sir, they need to spread the word. The galaxy needs to know what happens when someone threatens humanity. The Iron Thunder's precise weapons fire disabled the engines of half the retreating ships, leaving them stranded but alive. The remaining vessels fled at maximum speed, broadcasting warnings on every frequency they could access. Lieutenant Stone translated the panicked alien transmissions. Sir, they're sending messages throughout the galaxy. Do not engage humans. Avoid Sol system. They are not like other species. They are hunters, not prey. Mitchell settled back in his command chair, satisfied. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Hours later, as the Iron Thunder began its journey back to Earth, Captain Jake Morrison's Horizon Runner emerged from its hiding place among the asteroid debris. The reconnaissance vessel had recorded the entire battle. Captain Mitchell, this is Jake Morrison. That was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Mitchell's voice came back warm with friendship. Jake, how's your ship holding up? Better than those alien fighters that tried to catch me. Sir, I'm picking up broadcasts from across the galaxy. Word of this battle is spreading faster than light. Multiple alien civilizations are already sending diplomatic messages to Earth. Back on Earth, General Lisa Hayes and Admiral Paul Carter watched the battle recordings in the Pentagon War Room. The holographic display showed the Iron Thunder's complete domination of the alien fleet. 200 ships, Admiral Carter said quietly. They brought 200 ships to conquer Earth, General Hayes smiled grimly. And one human ship sent them running home in terror. I think our message has been delivered. President Helen Brooks joined them, having rushed from the White House when news of the victory arrived. What's our next move? We wait, General Hayes replied. The aliens will spread word of this battle throughout the galaxy. Within weeks, every species out there will know that humans are not to be underestimated. Admiral Carter nodded. More importantly, they'll know we're not interested in conquest or expansion. We just want to be left alone. But if anyone threatens Earth, they'll face the same fate as the Coalition. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the surviving Coalition ships limped back to their home worlds, carrying with them a new understanding of humanity's place in the universe. The species they had dismissed as primitive had revealed themselves to be something far more dangerous. A race of tactical geniuses who had turned warfare into an art form. On the Zephyrian homeworld, Admiral Kexthera filed her final report. Her career was over, her fleet destroyed, but the information she carried was more valuable than any military victory. The humans are not another species to be catalogued, she wrote. They are apex predators who have mastered the art of war through necessity and survival. Any species that threatens them will face not just superior technology, but tactical thinking beyond our comprehension. Her report concluded with a simple recommendation that would reshape galactic politics. Avoid human space. Seek diplomatic contact only. Never, under any circumstances, threaten their homeworld. The Iron Thunder docked at Earth's orbital station to a hero's welcome. Captain Mitchell and his crew had achieved something no military force in galactic history had ever accomplished. They had made humanity feared and respected throughout the galaxy without firing the first shot in anger. As Mitchell walked through the station's corridors, he reflected on the day's events. Humanity had announced its presence to the galaxy not as conquerors or explorers, but as a species that could not be threatened with impunity. The aliens had come expecting to find prey. Instead, they had discovered that humans were the hunters,